afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We're students who are currently studying modern languages in Escuela Colombiana de Carreras Industriales, EXI University, and we will do a brief interview to, what's your name?
Oscar Echeverry.
Who in this moment lives in Bogota, Cundinamarca, and works in a language institute. Apart of that job, what do you do?
Okay, not only I work as an English teacher, but I also work as a simultaneous translator and interpreter.
How long did you live in the US?
Okay, originally I lived in the States when I was a kid, like during 5-6 years when I studied elementary school. Then I came back to Colombia to study high school. Then I went back to the States to study college. And then after I finished college, I came back to Colombia to work and to study.
Which were the reason that made you decided to live in the USA?
Okay, one of the main reasons was that my mother was living in the States at that time, and all her family lives in the States right now. So that's why, my family saw it as an opportunity for me to learn the language and to be with my mother.
Which have been the pleasant and unpleasant experiences that you live in the USA?
Well, there are many pleasant things about living in the US. Of course, the language, being able to learn the language, to practice the language, to watch television in English, to do everything that I like about English. Unpleasant maybe is the fact that in the United States, it's a country where you really have to work a lot, and people there work long hours, and you don't really have a lot of free time to enjoy life. That's one of the reasons why I came back to Colombia.
But when you had free time, what did you do, or what did you like to do in the United States?
Well, my free time basically was on weekends, and what I would do would be just to travel around and to visit places and visit friends and visit family. Mostly my family, because one of the things another unpleasant thing about the States is that distances are very high, and families are always like apart. So there's not like the union that we have here in Colombia, and or let's say in Bogota, that you are like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes away from your family. In the States, everything is so far. So on weekends I would just go and visit my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, etc. My family.
Who lived with you?
No, originally, when I lived by myself, I share an apartment with another person. All right. So when I was a kid, of course, I lived with my mother. When I returned to study college, I just lived alone. Well, alone like by myself, and I had a roommate.
What do you miss from the youth that are in Colombia?
Mainly things about food. I know that here in Colombia we have a lot of American food, like hamburgers and stuff, but there are other things about typical American food that I miss, like good American blueberry muffins, pies, and especially desserts, all right? And I don't know, things like snacks like Pop-Tarts and all the things that you grow up with as a kid, and that you don't have the opportunity to have here, because although globalization has made it possible like for Colombia to have many American things, there are still many things that we cannot get here in Colombia.
Okay. The contrary. What do you like from Colombia that are not in the US?
Well, again, the food, all right? All the Colombian food that we enjoy here, like the typical Colombian food, like ajiacos and bandeja paisa, even lentejas. I remember I had this family and that I would spend a lot of time with, and they would call me and say, "Hi, Oscar, we made lentejas today," and I would just run to eat lentejas, because although I like American food, well, it was, listening or knowing that a Colombian person made Colombian lentejas for me was like, wow, no, so I would run and just eat them. So it was basically the food.
Do you speak Spanish or other languages?
I speak Spanish and I speak Italian.
Italian?
Yes.
Oh, great. But have you gone there?
I learned Italian in Italy, and I only speak it. I don't know how to read or write.
Okay.
It was just like an immersion course in which I had to be with an Italian group of people, and I had to learn Italian because if I didn't speak the language, I wouldn't survive. So it was like 10 days, and during those 10 days, I learned to speak the language, just to speak.
Just in Italy?
Only in Rome.
Or-
Yes. No, only in Rome. Yes.
How have been your experience with the use of English language according to expressions or slangs?
Well, one of the again, one of the advantages of globalization is television. You know, having the opportunity to have cable TV and to enjoy all the American programs that we have here in Colombia has given me the opportunity to have contact with slang, with expressions that not only I have learned, or I learned when I lived there, or I have learned when I visit, because I try to go to the States every other year, and when I'm with my friends, I learned a lot of expressions. But also television. Television has helped. I mean, like, I'm a TV addict. I love TV series, and all the television that I watch is in English. So I learn a lot of expressions and a lot of slangs, and slang. So I mean, I think, or I consider that it's very important to be in contact with the language, but with the real language, so you learn that slang and those expressions that are very important for your language.
Okay. Before going to the US, what were the perceptions that you had about that country? Now that do you know it, what do you think?
Well, before going there, it was basically what my family would tell me, and everything in my family would be like, you have to learn the language because you're gonna live in the States. You have to learn how to cook because you're gonna live in the States. You gotta learn how to live by yourself because you're gonna live in the States. So those were like the expectations that I had in terms of living there. Once I was there, well, things were not as I thought. I mean, like, I didn't really have to cook or to clean or whatever, but it was just because of the situation that I lived in that moment with my family. So, but basically, the perception that I had, or that they gave me, that my family gave me, was that you really needed to be very independent. And no, you don't really have to be that independent, and you can still, like, live your life in the same way that you would live your life here in Colombia.
What does your family that is in the USA think about you for living here? And have they visited you?
Okay, since they have lived in the States for so many years, what they think, I mean, like, they are always afraid, of course. Even, like, for example, when they come to Bogota and they see the mountains, they feel afraid. I mean, driving here for them is scary because we drive like maniacs in Bogota. So yes, they have visited me and they have come many times, but it's not something that they enjoy because of the difference kind of in the way of living, the way of driving, the way of behaving. All right, everything in the States is I agree. I mean, it's very organized. People drive in a very nice and polite way, but here everything it's totally different. So. When I mean, what they think is that I'm crazy, that why do I live in this country with all these problems and insecurity and maniacs driving the streets, all right? So when they come, it's basically that they feel totally afraid of the mountains, the people, the traffic, etc.
Can you tell about some slangs that you didn't know?
Some slang that I didn't know. Well, I mean, I can't remember now, but, well, expressions like road rage, that's what people do here. Road rage is like to drive like a maniac. I remember words that, like hater, that I learned in the States. A hater is a person who, like, when you say something bad about the other person, you're a hater. So it's also a slang. People say, oh, you hater, you're a hater. What else? No, I can't remember right now. It's difficult to just to. I mean, because what happens with those expressions is that they become part of the language for you, and it's like when they say, "Oh, you speak English?" Yes, I do. I say something in English, and you feel like, "What do I say?" It's the same thing. So if you ask me for expressions, I don't know. They're part of the language of my language already, so I don't really know. But I mean, it's difficult to remember some.
Okay, I think that's so.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. A pleasure.